Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Brianna and today we are going to be going over the book releases that I am most excited for in the second half of 2025. At the end of 2024, I posted a video very similar to this about 2025 book releases that I was very excited for, but I'm pretty sure all of them were in the first half of the year because a lot of books hadn't been announced yet. So now we finally have some more books that were announced. We have more release dates. So I have 15 books today that I am going to share with you that are coming out soon that I cannot wait to read. I have my old handy dandy laptop right here with all of the book information. So let's just go over these 15 books together and maybe you guys will want to add all of them to your TBR as well. Also, I really hope this audio sounds okay. I'm trying out something different with my little mini mic like up close because if I'm going to be looking down at my laptop and not like speaking directly into a microphone up here, I don't know. I'm going to hope that it sounds good though. Also, I do have these listed in order of when they come out. So we're starting in July and then they go through November. I don't think I have any December releases, but I guess we'll see. First up, we have A Theory in Dreaming by Ava Reed, and this comes out very, very soon. It comes out July 29th. Now, this is the second book in a duology, the first book being A Study in Drowning. It's dark academia, it's romantasy, but I do think the synopsis I'm about to tell you might be a little bit spoilery, so if you haven't read A Study in Drowning yet, you might want to skip ahead a minute or two. I don't know, I'll insert pictures, so once you see the next picture, you'll know that this segment is over for A Theory of Dreaming. And this one says, all stories come to an end. Effie learned that when she defeated the Fairy King. Even though she may never know exactly what happened at Hyreth, she is free of her nightmares and is able to pen a thesis with Preston on the beloved national fairy tale Angharad. She has finally earned a spot at the Literature College, making her the first woman in history to enroll. But some dreams are dangerous, especially when they come true. The entire university, and soon the entire nation, is waiting for her to fail. With the Fairy King defeated and Myrddin's legacy exposed, Effie can no longer escape into fantasy. Who is she without her stories? With Effie under threat, Preston is surprised to discover a rage simmering inside him, ringing in his ears like bells. He begins to dream of a palace under the sea, a world where he is king, visions that start to follow him even in waking. As the war between Lyre and Argent explodes, Effie and Preston find themselves caught in the crossfire, Effie losing her dreams and Preston losing himself in his. I am so excited for this. I really, really enjoyed A Study in Drowning. I think I gave it a 4-star rating, maybe even a 4.5-star rating. Like, it was so good. The dark academia, the whole world was just so unique to me, I remember. And then I loved the love story that we got between Effie and Preston. So I'm very, very excited to see how that continues after the ending of book 1. But I'm not going to linger on this book too long because, again, it is the second in a duology. But this is your sign to read A Study in Drowning if you haven't already, so that you can be prepared for the next book. Okay, and then book number 2 is Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Catabasis. I don't know. This one comes out August 26th, and it is another like dark academia fantasy. I have read Yellowface and Babel by R.F. Kuang. Yellowface is more so just like general fiction, and then Babel is a dark academia fantasy, so like the same genre that we're going to be getting with Catabasis. I don't know, R.F. Kuang's writing style I really, really enjoy, and while I didn't love the overall story of Babel, I still give it a 3-star rating, so like it was still good, it just wasn't one of my favorite books ever. So I'm intrigued to see if I'll like Catabasis because I think what I'm discovering is that dark academia isn't really like my favorite genre. But we're going to try it again. And the synopsis for this one says, 2 graduate students must set aside their rivalry and journey to hell to save their professor's soul, perhaps at the cost of their own. Alice Law has only ever had one goal, to become one of the brightest minds in the field of magic. She has sacrificed everything to make that a reality. Her pride, her health, her love life, and most definitely her sanity. All to work with Professor Jacob Grimes at Cambridge, the greatest magician in the world, that is, until he dies in a magical accident that could possibly be her fault. Grimes is now in hell, and she's going in after him. because his recommendation could hold her very future in his now incorporeal hands, and even death is not going to stop the pursuit of her dreams, nor will the fact that her rival, Peter Murdoch, has come to the same conclusion. Ooh, I love that. I love a good rivals to lovers. Like that, if Dark Academia has rivals to lovers, I think I like it. But, well, I don't know if there's really going to be romance, actually. But still, I just think rivalry is so fun. It, like, really adds to the plot, in my opinion, and just what I enjoy reading. So, love a good rivalry. You guys, I think it's a bad sign that I'm only on book 2 out of 15 and my throat is already starting to hurt. Book 3 that I am excited for is If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. This one comes out September 2nd and it's a romance, and just look at the cover and tell me that's not something you want to read. Like, it is adorable, perfect for the fall. It's really giving me Gilmore Girls vibes, honestly. I am so excited for this one. I love like seasonal themed romances. I think they're so fun. And I do love fall. You know, I try to be a summer girly at heart because in Minnesota we don't have summer for very long. So I just try to embrace the 3 months of warm weather that we get a year. But I think just in my heart, I'm a fall girl. Like, I love fall food and drinks. I love fall outfits. I love fall candles. I love just the cozy vibes, cozy outfits, cozying up by the fire with a good book. Like, I think I'm a fall girl, you guys. But I don't know why I'm saying this. Like, I'm just now realizing it. I think I've known this my whole life. I just try to be a summer girly, and that's just not who I am. Okay? I'm a fall girl. I don't know why I just went on that tangent, but let me tell you about If It Makes You Happy. My new next door neighbor seems to have everything figured out. Small town golden boy? Check. Single dad extraordinaire? Check. Hot baker forearms? I didn't notice them, I swear. I, on the other hand, don't at all have anything figured out. Trust me, I didn't think taking over my mom's dream bed and breakfast in Copper Run, Vermont was going to be very easy. It should be a good place to heal after my divorce, but apparently my scones belong in the garbage with my small talk skills, as pointed out by none other than Cliff. Cliff is inescapable. He knows exactly what people need, always. His charm, the way he wears flannel, and even his pastries make not wanting to be friends with Cliff and his daughter pretty hard. Friends, I can make friends, that's safe. Except I'm leaving in 3 months to pass the inn off to my little sister and get the promotion in Seattle I've been working towards. So ask me why I'm thinking about kissing my hot neighbor. I want to scream, but for the sake of your ears, I won't, because I'm pretty sure this microphone would break. Does that just not sound like the most fun, cozy, fall romance read ever? I feel like this is what the Pumpkin Spice Cafe was trying to be, but I feel like this will be better executed. I don't know. I've never read anything by Julie Olivia. I don't know if this is her debut novel, but I'm so excited to see what Julie Olivia is cooking up for us. Next, I feel like this one is already on a lot of people's radar because it is none other than Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. Rebecca Ross is the same author as Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows, which is a very popular duology, and in my opinion, for good reason, because it is an incredible romantasy duology. I love it so much. So I am very excited for this book coming out also on September 2nd, and this is another romantasy by her. This one's got a little bit of a longer synopsis, so bear with me. Born in the fire-lit domain of the Underrealm, Matilda is the youngest goddess of her clan, blessed with humble messenger magic. But in a land where gods often kill each other to seal power and alliances break as quickly as they are forged, Matilda must come to age sooner than most. She may be known to carry words and letters through the realms, but she holds a secret she must hide from even her dearest of allies to ensure her survival. And to complicate matters, there is a mortal boy who dreams of her, despite the fact that they have never met in the waking world. I'm sorry, but does that not just remind you a little bit of ACOTAR and Feyre with our favorite High Lord? That's all I'll say. 10 years ago, Vincent of Beckett wrote to Matilda on the darkest night of his life, begging the goddess he befriended in dreams to help him. When his request went unanswered, Vincent moved on, becoming the hardened, irreverent lord of the river who has long forgotten Matilda. That is, until she comes tumbling into his bedroom window with a letter for him. As fate would have it, Matilda and Vincent were destined to find each other beyond dreams. There may be a chance for Matilda to rewrite the blood-soaked ways of the gods, but at an immense sacrifice. She will have to face something she fears, even more than losing her magic, to be vulnerable and to allow herself to finally be loved. Yeah, after reading that, like, I was already excited. After reading that, I'm even more excited. Also, I don't think I've ever read a book where the main character is Matilda or Vincent. So that's always fun. Next up is Wild Card by Elsie Silver. This one comes out September 9th, and this is the fourth book in the Rose Hill series. Now, I do think you could definitely read these books on their own, but all of the books are kind of interconnected with a friend group and people in the town who all like know each other and hang out with each other. So if you do read them out of order, it might be a little spoilery because you might see glimpses of other couples. So keep that in mind, but this is a small town romance. It says, Sebastian is a grumpy, hot as hell fire pilot who is too damn good with his hands. It's the perfect combination, but unfortunately for me, he's also my ex-boyfriend's dad. A chance meeting brought us together and a misconnection has kept us apart. 1 year later, a stroke of fate has us living under the same roof, which makes everything between us downright messy. Because even after all this time, he's still the man I think about when I fall asleep. The one I can't get over no matter how hard I try. He's working on mending a fragile relationship with his son, and we both know acting on these urges would be the ultimate betrayal. But I see the heat in his eyes, the look of need that never fails to send a shiver down my spine. The mutual longing is borderline unbearable, and the simmering heat between us is downright palpable. We both know there are rules when it comes to situations like this, but then again, following the rules has never been my strong suit. I love a good age gap romance, and this one is her ex-boyfriend's dad? What do you mean? Once again, I could have like screamed there, but I didn't, so you're welcome. But what do you mean, ex-boyfriend's dad? That is crazy to me because I'm just like picturing my husband's dad and no, 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 never in a million years could that ever happen. For various reasons, yeah, it's giving me Credence. If you know, you know. Yeah, I'm excited about this. I've really enjoyed the other three books in the Rose Hill series by Elsie Silver. I feel like I definitely enjoy the Rose Hill series more than the Chestnut Springs series. I feel like the Chestnut Springs series was really mediocre writing, but obviously as time has went on, I feel like Elsie Silver's writing has really improved with the Rose Hill series. I just feel like all of the characters are a lot more well-rounded and written with more depth in the Rose Hill series. So I'm excited. I think this is the last book of the Rose Hill series, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll be very, very fun to read. Next, we have Uncharmed by Lucy Jane Wood, and this comes out September 16th, and this is like a cozy, witchy fantasy. It says, Annie Wildwood is perfectly perfect in every which way. Her life is a haze of pink, magic, and impossibly high standards. But when she is tasked with mentoring a troubled teenage witch with extraordinary powers, Annie's charmed existence is quickly thrown into utter chaos. Set in the same enchanting world as Rewitched, Uncharmed celebrates found family, unconditional love, and the joy of swapping perfectionism and people-pleasing for being your true magical self. I, first of all, again, love this cover. I'm obsessed with it. It is just screaming fall. It has a cat. That is how you get me, with cats. I love a good witchy read for the fall time, and this sounds like it'll be perfect. I feel like I'm gonna really relate to the main character Annie, it sounds like, because joy of swapping perfectionism and people pleasing, that's me to a T, and I really try to be better at it. but sometimes it's still hard. So I always like reading about characters who are kind of similar to me in that way and see how they do it, because I could take some tips. Okay, on to the next book, which is Soularching by Lila Sage, and this comes out September 30th, and this is a paranormal romance. Now, if you guys didn't know, Lila Sage is actually very, very popular for her cowboy romance series. It's called the Rebel Blue Ranch series. It has Done and Dusted, Swift and Saddled, Lost and Lassoed, and then Wild and Wrangled. So that series is now finished up. So I think this might be a new romance series that she is going to start, and paranormal romance. I love that. I'm already obsessed with the idea. This is another long synopsis, so stick with me through it because it sounds so good. Collins Cartwright does not want to go home. Sweetwater Peak, Wyoming was supposed to be in her rearview mirror, but when she finds out a developer is trying to buy her parents' antique shop out from under them, she doesn't have a choice. At least that's what she tells her family. They don't need to know she's lost her job and is out of money, or that the ghosts that have always been her companions have recently gone silent. Just because she's returned home doesn't mean she has to stay with her parents or crash on her twin sister's couch. Lucky for her, the new-to-town upholsterer has a room for rent above his store. Unluckily, it is absolutely crawling with more ghosts who are freezing her out, and Collins hates being ignored. Brady Cooper is absolutely and totally fine. Seriously, there's no secret reason why he decided to uproot his life and suddenly move to Sweetwater Peak. He just needed a change of pace. At least, that's what he tells himself, and everyone else. When he agrees to let the elusive Collins Cartwright stay in his spare room, he doesn't know that she's absolutely bonkers, constantly talking to herself and having conversations with no one, or that she looks like that. But as they begin to get closer, the lines between them start to blur, leaving both of them and the ghosts that have been pushing them together wondering whether or not their temporary arrangement could be something more permanent. I'm just gonna leave it at that because I feel like that speaks for itself and you can understand why I'm excited for that. Next up is Fake Skating by Lynn Painter. This one comes out September 30th and it is a YA romance. Lynn Painter's YA romances are my favorite YA romances. She just does them too good. I also love Lynn Painter's rom-coms because they're like true rom-coms, but sometimes I love a good YA romance because there's no spice. This one says, from playdates on the playground to sneaking into movie theaters, Danny and Alec were inseparable as kids, until Danny moved away, years later. Danny is back in Minnesota and excited to reconnect with the nerdy and comforting Alec. But teenage Alec is nothing like the boy she remembers. He's the hockey star in a town where hockey players are worshipped as gods, and he loves it. When one thing leads to another and Danny and Alec find themselves thrown together and playing the role of boyfriend and girlfriend, complicated becomes an understatement. In this Minnesota town, hockey may rule, but romance is about to take its place. I will tell you, there are two very main reasons why I'm so excited for this, other than it being a Lynn Painter YA release, but I'm from Minnesota, born and raised my whole life. I'm really intrigued to see if the Minnesota town is going to be a real Minnesota town or a fictional town, because I feel like a lot of times when people name like, oh, a Minnesota town, it'll be like St. Cloud or something, or Bemidji, which are big cities where it's like I live in a town of population 4,000, or I grew up going to a school in a town where the population was like 2,000. So I'm very intrigued to see if it's going to be a real town or made up one, because if it's real, I will know whether Lynn Painter did her research or not on like, oh, small town or not. So that's one reason I'm really excited for it, is it takes place in Minnesota where I live. And then another reason is ice skating. I mean, there's a stereotype for Minnesota and ice skating for a reason. Hockey is very big in the state, as is figure skating. I grew up figure skating. My brothers are obsessed with hockey. I need my little ice skating fix and Minnesota fix. I think it's very, very fun. Next up, you guys have probably been waiting for me to say it, Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This one comes out October 7th, and this is Bride Book 2, so read Bride first before this one, people. And this is another one of Ali Hazelwood's paranormal romances. Romantasy is her first, being Bride. And I'm really excited for this one, not because I loved Bride. I gave Bride like a 3-star rating, so I liked it, but I definitely feel like it's overhyped. I'm excited to see if Ali Hazelwood's fantasy writing has improved because I love her romances. Her STEM romances, incredible. So I'm hoping the writing has improved with this next book. It says Serena Paris is orphaned, packless, and one of a kind. Coming forward as the first human were hybrid was supposed to heal a centuries-long rift between species. Instead, it made her a target. With her enemies closing in on her, she has only one option left, if he'll have her. As Alpha of the Northwest Pack, Cohen Alexander commands obedience. His authority is so absolute, only a fool would threaten his mate. It doesn't matter if Serena doesn't reciprocate his feelings. Nothing will stop him from keeping her safe. But power-hungry vampires and wares are not the only threats chasing Serena. Sooner or later, her past is bound to catch up with her, and Cohen might be the only thing standing between her and total annihilation. So, it sounds like it could be good. I'm not going to get my hopes up, just because, again, I was kind of disappointed with Bride, but it sounds like it could be good. It has potential. On to the next is The Intruder by Frida McFadden. This comes out October 7th, and obviously it's a Frida McFadden book. It's a thriller. I don't know if this is just being like republished or if it is actually a new book that she has written, because I just feel like she's popped out like 5 books this year. And I'm like, how? Literally how? She's like a brain doctor. So I'm like, how is girl being a doctor and also writing this many books a year? So that's why I'm like, I don't know if this one's just being republished with like a new cover or if it is actually new. So if anyone knows, let me know in the comments. This says, Casey's cabin in the wilderness is not built for a hurricane. Her roof shakes, the lights flicker, and the tree outside her front door sways ominously in the wind. But she's a lot more worried about the girl she discovers lurking outside her kitchen window. She's young, she's alone, and she's covered in blood. The girl won't explain where she came from or loosen her grip on the knife in her right hand, and when Casey makes a disturbing discovery in the middle of the night, things take a turn for the worse. The girl has a dark secret, one she'll kill to keep, and if Casey gets too close to the truth, she may not live to see the morning. I love a good Frida McFadden palette cleanser thriller, and this sounds like it'll do the trick. Ooh, this next one I'm really excited about, and it is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. It comes out October 7th, and it is a fantasy book. Now, Stephanie Garber is the same author as Caraval and Once Upon a Broken Heart. While I didn't love the Caraval series, I definitely liked it, but I love the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. Like, I probably think about Evangeline and Jax every single day. I always want to reread that series, but I'm like, no, I have 150 books on my physical TBR I need to get through first. Oh my gosh, I love Once Upon a Broken Heart. You guys need to read those 2 series. So let's get into Alchemy of Secrets, because this cover I hate. I think it is just so ugly. That is my opinion. If you love it, I love that for you. I wish I could love it, but this cover is giving me nothing to go off of. I know they say don't judge a book by its cover, but if I wasn't already a fan of Stephanie Garber, I would not be picking up this book, you know, just based on the cover, because I feel it gives me nothing of the story whatsoever. Like, I wouldn't even know this is a fantasy. But it says, Folklore 517, local legends and urban myths taught by a woman called the Professor. Most students believe the Professor's stories are just fiction, but Holland St. James has always been convinced that magic is real. When she tracks down a local legend named the Watchman, who can supposedly tell you when you'll die, the world finally makes sense. Except that the Watchman tells her she will die at midnight tomorrow unless she finds an ancient object called the alchemical. Alchemical? Is that how you would say that? Alchemical? Alchemical heart? I don't know. I've never. I mean, I know what alchemy is, but alchemical heart. With the clock ticking, Holland is pulled deeper into this magical world in the heart of Los Angeles and into the path of a magnetic stranger. Everything about him feels like a bad idea, but he promises Holland that her sister sent him to protect her, and they chase clues and stories that take them closer to the, oh my gosh, that word again, alchemical heart. Holland realizes everyone in this intoxicating new world is lying to her, even the stranger, and if she can't figure out whom to trust, not even the alchemical heart will save her. Hold on, hold on. Alchemical, okay. I just think that one sounds so fun that she's told, oh yeah, you're gonna die tomorrow night unless you bring me this magical object. And she's like, okay. I am living for all of the fantasy books and like cozy fall books coming out soon. My wallet's gonna be hurting, but my heart will be happy. Okay, guys, just a few more to go, but I'm having a good time. Are you having a good time? Hopefully. Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. This one comes out October 21st, and it is a holiday paranormal romance. He's the ghost of Christmas Past. She's not exactly Scrooge. Ghost of Christmas Past, Nolan Callahan intends to spend his holiday haunting like every other. Get in, get out, return to his otherwise aimless existence as a ghost, awaiting the afterlife. But when he's faced with Harriet York, the sweetest assignment he's ever had, he suddenly finds himself wishing for a future. Harriet York has no idea why she's being haunted. She's a good person, or at least she tries to be. A people pleaser to her core, she always does what's expected of her. But as she and Nolan begin to examine her past, they discover there are threads that bind them together and realize there might be more to moving on than expected. With the deadline of Christmas Eve fast approaching, will they find the key to their futures in each other's pasts, or will they stay firmly in the present, indulging in their unexpected, spirited connection? Let me tell you why I'm excited for this one. Because B.K. Borison has been hit or miss for me. I read 2 of her books, the first being Love Light Farms. Nope, did not like it. But then I read, why am I blanking on what it's called? First Time Caller. Loved it. It was amazing. So this one I'm really excited for because it's going to be Christmassy paranormal romance. And I'm really hoping it's more similar to her writing in First Time Caller than Love Light Farms. Next, we have 7 Deadly Thorns by Amber Hamilton. This comes out November 4th, and this is another Dark Academia romantasy, so that's why I think I'm gonna like it more than just regular Dark Academia. I don't know, there's something about Dark Academia where I need romance in it. You know, there's other books where I'm like, no, I don't need romance in it. Like literary fiction or historical fiction, something like that. I'm like, nope, don't need romance. I can just read as is. But Dark Academia, I need something else. I don't know the reasoning for that. But yeah, that's just something about me. Okay, bear with me for some of these names in the synopsis I'm about to read you. I mean, it can't be worse than alchemical. In the cursed kingdom of Aragoa, the punishment for magic is death. Even the students at Vanderburg Academy aren't spared. When Viola Sinclair's deadly shadow magic is discovered, the queen gives her assassin a new assignment, and when the new curse tattooed, 7-thorned rose is on his arm for 7 days, he has to hunt Viola down and kill her. If he doesn't, he will be the one to die. The assassin is Rose Roquelaert, entitled prince, arrogant fellow student, and the one person Viola hates more than anyone. Rose should revel in the chance to end her life, but he desperately needs something from Viola and her magic, and he's willing to spare her life and fake their engagement to get it. Forced to work together, Viola and Rose must contend with deadly threats, dangerous secrets, and an impossible attraction. Will they give in to their deepest desires, even if it means destroying Aragoa and risking both their lives? It is her worst enemy and his only chance. I've seen some advertising on this one, and I know advertising in the publishing company has been a little controversial lately with some recent releases in the last few months, but I've heard this one being compared to Powerless by Lauren Roberts, and I love me some Powerless by Lauren Roberts, so I'm very, very excited for this. It's also published by Bloomsbury, I think, and I feel like Bloomsbury just knows how to do their fantasy, right? Oh my god, you guys, this next one, Daddy Issues by Kate Goldbeck. Look at this cover. Are we joking? This, yeah, I would read this book based on the cover alone and the title. I mean, Daddy Issues, that is a phenomenal title name. I have also loved You Again by Kate Goldbeck. I feel like that one was either hit or miss for people. But I personally loved it. So I'm very, very excited for Daddy Issues coming out November 18th because it looks like it's going to be a very, very fun romance. It says at 26, Sam Pulaski expected to be thriving in her academic career, living on her own in some exciting city. Expectations meet reality. She has massive student loans from studying art history, a dead-end service industry job, a situationship that's equal parts intoxicating and toxic, and she's been crashing in her mom's condo, at least it's not a basement, for the last 5 years. If she can finally get accepted into a PhD program and get out of Ohio, the adult life that's been on hold for half her 20s will finally begin. Her mom's new neighbor, Nick, is the ultimate grown-up. His adult life began the moment his 9-year-old daughter, Kira, was born. Her happiness is Nick's only priority, especially in the wake of divorce. There's nothing he won't do for Kira, including giving up his globe-trotting career for something more stable, like managing a chain restaurant. Sam has zero interest in an ultra-dependable guy pushing 40. Frankly, she's a little afraid of kids. But with just one thin wall separating the two condos, Nick proves difficult to avoid. His quiet confidence forces Sam to grapple with the other men, friends with benefits, and her father. As her unexpected connection with Nick heats up and steams up his minivan windows, Sam finds herself falling fast for a man whose life is steady and settled, while hers is anything but. Yeah, I'm going to be eating that up. I love single dad tropes. I don't know what that says about me because I grew up with divorced parents and a single dad, so really I do not know what that says about me whatsoever. I feel like that's kind of scary to think about, honestly, but I love the single dad trope in books. So yeah. And lastly, we have Under the Oak Tree Volume 2. Now this was like a graphic novel, but it's being translated and made into like an actual novel. So volume 2 of that comes out November 18th, and this is a romantasy. I loved volume 1. It was just so different, I feel like, than any other romantasies that I have read. So if you haven't read volume 1 of Under the Oak Tree, you might want to skip ahead to the end of this video because this synopsis might be a little spoilery. As her first winter in Anatole turns into spring, Lady Maximilian finds herself confronting an unfamiliar hope. Her voice and her magic strengthen every day. The only parts of Calypse's castle left to refurbish are its gardens, which she plans to fill with blooming flowers, and the way her husband, war hero Sir Riften, looks at her from across their bedroom makes her feel, for the first time in her life, that she might be worthy of love and affection. However, Maxie's life is never that easy. Just as she begins to feel at home with Riften, Maxie receives a surprise visit from Princess Agnes, the renowned sorceress who might have become Riften's wife if he'd divorced Maxie after the dragon campaign. Not at all what Maxie expected, the princess stirs up complicated emotions and politics that could lead to monumental changes in Maxie and Riften's relationship. I hope that doesn't happen because I love Maxie and Riften. But those are the 15 books that I am most excited to come out in the second half of 2025. If I missed any that you guys are excited for, please comment them down below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, comment any videos you would like to see from me in the future because I want to post what you guys want to see. Otherwise, I hope I see you next time. Bye!